Guessing by how they were acting, the four of them were probably a family. The woman who had the leg injury was likely the mother, and the one she was holding was probably the daughter. In front of them, with the swords, were probably the father and son. Considering the number of people they faced, and still being willing to stand up to them, made Han feel like these were good people. With how they were looking at him, they probably never seen someone with his level of healing magic before. Calling what he did as healing was a misnomer, considering he just thought about her being made whole and made it her optimal health. Then he just removed the extra stuff that didn't belong, such as dirt, grime, and blood. If he ever wanted to make a living, he could always open a dry cleaning business. The idea was pretty amusing, so he ended up chuckling. Looking at the family, he noticed that they were looking at him with wariness. Who wouldn't be concerned about a guy laughing out of nowhere? Han thought to himself. Where are my manners? I am Han, and these are my companions, he said, introducing each one of them to the family. I apologize about earlier. I tend to have a flair for the dramatics. Your wife was never in any danger of blood loss, Han said casually. Thinking to himself, he needed to take the stuff more seriously even if he has this OP ability. The problem was all of those mangas and animes he used to read and watch. There, the main character made dramatic entrances. Who wouldn't want to look dashing and cool in front of strangers? My lord, thank you for saving my wife and family. If there's anything I could do for you, please do not hesitate and ask. I am Tom. This is my wife, Molly, my son, Jake, and my daughter, Samantha. The man, Tom, said to him, introducing his family. His son bowed to him, while the wife and daughter awkwardly curtsied to him. Don't think much about it. How could I allow those soldiers target such a lovely-looking family? Han waved the thanks away. By chance, would you happen to know who those soldiers belong to? It would be a good idea to learn about the regional politics. They belong to the Lunar Empire, my lord, Tom informed him. He seemed to calm down a bit after seeing that Han was a decent person. The Lunar Empire? Han asked. They are a vast empire to the north of our kingdom, my lord, Tom explained to him, looking slightly confused at how this lord didn't know about such a massive empire. Was all Han said, considering this man's words. He could always pull up a map to see where this empire was if he was curious. Looking over at the overturned wagon next to the road, Han mentioned, Might I ask where you were heading with those crates? This could lead to something interesting, which was the whole point of this excursion. We are heading to Leaf Village, my lord. I am a merchant, so will be taking my wares to the village. I specialize in raw material, used for clothing, weapon, armor, and food. We were traveling with a caravan, but when the Empire soldiers attacked us, we were abandoned. The last part he said in a sad voice, thinking about how the other merchants was willing to sacrifice his family, hurt, considering merchants such as them had such tight bonds. Looking at your wagon, it looks like it was severely damaged after being overturned. I don't like the idea of leaving you behind, so how about all of you travel with me to the village? I'm sure it would be a lot more comfortable and more calming, especially for your wife and daughter. Han cheerfully said. He could have fixed or made a better wagon, but decided this method would be more interesting. It would be fun traveling with people who belong to the world. Just remembering how Ellis would look amazed by everything made him smile. Helania, go and store those crates away, he called out to her and proceeded to walk back to the carriage. Brittany opened up the carriage door for him to enter, and when he looked back at the family, they were looking at one another and decided to follow him. Entering the cabin, he looked around and willed it to become larger with more sofas to accommodate the family. He then looked at Brittany and said, "I think it may be time to have something to snack on. Maybe a light meal for those people. Have Cindy and Mindy prepare some roast beef with some vegetables." "Yes, master." "You are such a generous person to consider these insignificant people's health and well-being," she said to him, bowing in reverence. Looking at her face, he leaned in and gave her a passionate kiss as he felt her breasts. Her breathing quickened and her knees began to give way as waves of pleasure engulfed her. When he pulled away, Han whispered into her ears, "This is your reward for doing such a good job." Looking breathless, Brittany answered, "Thank you, master." Taking a seat, he grabbed his glass of sweet tea and drank it. Brittany came to him with a pitcher and filled the glass with more. The door was open and Helania, Queen, and Ellis came in, followed by Cindy. He assumed that Minnie was holding open the door because the family came in, looking hesitant. When all four of them were inside, they stared at everything, looking dazed. "Come inside, have a seat. I'm sure all of you are exhausted and hungry. Cindy and Mindy will be bringing some food for us to snack on before we reach the village," he encouraged them. My lord, what is this carriage?" the mother, named Molly, asked him as she tried to take everything in. Laughing, he said, "I apologize, but Ellis had a very similar reaction. As I told her, I am just a simple magician. Please, just enjoy the ride, and if there's anything I can provide, do not hesitate to ask." Han chuckled, getting himself under control. When everyone was inside, both Cindy and Mindy disappeared to fetch what was requested. In a few moments, they returned with several dishes filled with roast beef, a variety of vegetables, and more drinks. They placed the dishes on the dining area table and began to prepare meals. Once everyone had a plate, they began to eat. The girl Samantha looked happy as she quickly consumed all the food, not even worrying about eating etiquette. Seeing her daughter act in such a manner, the mother looked apologetically at Han and reprimanded her daughter. "Miss, please do not concern yourself with such things as table manners. I am happy to see your daughter enjoying the food I prepared. The chef, I am sure, would be quite delighted to hear that his dish is being lovingly eaten." He tried to pacify the mother. Looking embarrassed, she went back to eating the food, while also looking like she was enjoying the meal. "Father, this meat is so tender," the boy, Jake, exclaimed. The boy was eating the food so quickly that Cindy was constantly going back to the table to fill his dish with more meat. The father, Tom, was also eating at a fast pace and had Mindy looking rather busy. As usual, Brittany was cutting up the meat into bite-sized pieces and feeding him. The meat was very tender with a nice layer of gravy. He could understand how the family was reacting, considering even in his life on Earth, Han wouldn't have been able to eat such quality food. Having to work hard throughout school, barely able to cover expenses, and finally finding a professional job, all that hardship seemed like it was worth it. "Master," Helania and Queen and Brittany said, looking concerned. He didn't realize that he was staring off into the distance, remembering some bad memories. Giving them a smile, to let them know that everything was okay, he focused his attention on his guests. They didn't seem to notice anything, and continued eating while chatting with one another. Ellis appeared to form a friendship with Molly, maybe because their age was so close and they related to how crazy everything seemed. As things started to slow down, Ellis and the family enjoyed their sweet tea. Looking content, they continued to marvel at the quality level of everything inside the carriage. "Where is your family from?" Han asked them, moving on to some minor chit-chat now that everyone looked relaxed. Tom looked at him and said, "We come from a relatively large town nearby the capital. My store is located there. We purchase various items from the guild, who receive them from adventurers, who complete various quests. After taking the items, the people who work for me convert the items into a common material which is then transported to the kingdom. The business may not be large, but we make a decent amount, though not enough to hire guards to protect us. Hence why we are traveling with other merchants towards Leaf Village." Talking about the other merchants, Tom clenched his fist in anger, thinking about what had transpired. So, there are adventurers and a guild in this world, huh? Han thought to himself. This world started to feel more and more like a giant MMORPG, and these people were NPCs. At least he could find some interesting stuff if there are adventurers. Maybe he should go to the guild and try his luck at being an adventurer, though he didn't know how difficult it would be with his abilities. These guilds, where are they located? He asked Tom. "My lord, there are numerous guilds for various professions, and they are usually located in larger villages, towns, and the capital," Tom answered. "Yes, my lord. Guilds like the Adventurer Guild are very powerful and help provide a greatly needed service. The Adventurer Guild was there to help defend us against the increase in monster and demonic activity that occurs every couple of years. Without them, there would be many lives lost." Ellis helped to supplement Tom's answer. "Where do the monsters and demons come from?" Han asked them, curious if there was a demon realm or portal. Tom and Ellis looked at one another, and Ellis replied, "No one knows where these two creatures come from. There are some theories about their origins, but there has been no proof to support such ideas." "Queen, I want you to take your shadow assassins and have them search throughout this kingdom to determine if there's a pattern to the demons and monster sightings. Also, have them look into the various villages and towns, along with the capital, to see if there's anything that should concern us." Han ordered Queen. "It seems we know too little of this world, and though they are likely not a threat to us, it wouldn't hurt to be prudent. I also wouldn't mind toying with people who think they are powerful." He said to her, "Master, I will complete this task with all my ability," she communicated back. Smiling, Han teased, "I would expect nothing less from my beautiful creation tasked with controlling my military might." Seeing her blush always seemed to cheer him up. He enjoyed teasing his creations and seeing how they would react to various stimuli. They then spent the time chatting about minor things, such as life in the kingdom and how they went about their day. Han spent most of the time asking questions, while Ellis and Tom's family answered his inquiries. Looking out the window, he could see the sun getting ready to leave its control to the night. "Master, we are approaching the village. There appears to be some form of security in front of the entrance. How would you like for me to proceed?" Andrea reported to him. "Just explain that we are simple travelers and look for entry into the village. If they need some money for an entry fee, just alert me and I will provide it. Remember, we are not here to lay waste to this village, so manners are important." Han told Andrea, reminding her that they were going to the kingdom for a purpose other than causing problems. "Well, it appears that we are nearing Leaf Village. My driver will handle talking to the men guarding the village. Where do you normally stay in this village when you visit for business?" Han said to Tom. "My lord, we normally stay at the inn. The rooms are reasonably priced and have a variety of room sizes. The innkeeper is an honorable person, so there are no concerns about troubles being started within the inn." The food is very good, but nowhere near the quality that my lord provided. Tom started to explain, but then near the end, he was worried he had offended Han. Raising both hands, Han said, "Please, be at ease. I did not take offense. I think I'll go to this inn and see what it's like." After directing Andrea to go to the inn, he contemplated what to do next. A part of him thought it would be good to head to the capital, but another part of him wanted to continue traveling with his family. Even though they had spent very little time with one another, Han had grown fond of this family. The carriage door suddenly opened up and he heard Andrea say, "Master, we have arrived at your destination."